If we don't have this one thing, we are never going to be confident. In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what that one thing is that is essential, completely essential to confidence, and that is self-trust. What's up, YouTube? My name is Kellyanne Rose, and in this video, we're going to talk all about how to trust yourself, building that self-confidence, and why self-confidence has so much weight and why self-trust is so important when we're talking about self-confidence, and why certain people and so many of us sometimes don't feel like we can trust ourselves. All right. So again, my name is Kellyanne Rose, and please subscribe to my channel. I'm new to YouTube, so I appreciate your support. All right, let's go ahead and just talk a little bit more about this. I have, from personal experience, I mean, just even today alone, I was just so upset at my boyfriend because he said that he was going to do something and he didn't. If you tell yourself, if you tell someone else that you're going to do something and you don't do it, how like can you trust yourself, right? And let alone how can anyone else trust you? Our word, our honor is our honor, and our word is our most important thing when it comes to gaining self trust of others, accomplishing our goals, accomplishing our dreams, earning other people's respect, just from a very basic level. Gaining trust with other people is important, but more important, gaining trust with ourselves. I noticed that when I was kind of floundering and I didn't know exactly what I was doing, and I had a lot of options in life, which was good, but I just had so many different options and things that I wanted to do that I wasn't honing in and focusing on one thing at a time. It was really hard to trust myself because I would change my mind a lot. And when you don't have self trust, really what it was really hard for me to be confident. So if you want to be confident, they say do one thing at a time, and that actually really helps a lot. And most importantly, do what you say you're going to do, because if you don't, you're going to lose respect from people. You're going to like upset people. It's better to tell them, I don't know the answer, or I don't feel like doing this right now, and here's why, versus agreeing to do something and then not do it. This is like work 101. Like you don't sign, you don't, I learned this the first year in my professional career, where it's better to say you don't know or you just don't have the answer instead of agreeing to something, or, and then not doing it later. And so relative professionally. It relates to personal, relationships, and our relationship with ourself and our self-reputation with other people and what other people think of us. And it is so important when you say you're going to do something to actually follow through and do it. And the problem is that a lot of people are really, number one, they don't know this, of course, and number two, they're still confident even though they're not following through with their word. But it's not always our fault if we are saying we're going to do something and we don't. It can lead, there's many causes of why this can happen. So let's just first talk about the difference between trust and confidence so we can be clear on this. Confidence is the assurance that we have on other people. It can be our friends, colleagues, employers, employees. It's the belief that they can perform something, or else the reliability that we have on a person. So I'm trying to think here I'm trying to look. So trust is the belief that we have on another person. So when you trust someone, it's like you're believing that they're this person. So maybe I have a little bit too much belief in this significant other currently in my life, because maybe I'm just believing, or maybe my expectations are too high. I did another video about expectations and how it can actually lead to disappointment when your expectations are too high, and it can also lead to depression and anxiety. I'm not an expert in any of these videos. I'm talking about real life things that are happening to me as I live my life, and, doing these, learning as I go along. So today's lesson is about trust and confidence, because if we do not do what we're going to say we're going to do, we lose confidence in ourselves. And in this case, it's really hard to just trust anyone else if they don't follow through with what they say they're going to do. So I think this is a very obvious topic now that I'm talking about it, and it almost seems like ridiculous, like I'm spiraling backwards to have to like teach this. Let some people just don't learn things like, and I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt, and it's like ridiculous. So, can you sense my frustration? All right. So how to trust yourself, building true self-confidence. So learning how to trust yourself is one of the most important things you can do to create the life you want. Everyone has this internal compass, and following it is always the best path to long-term happiness. So, many people are conditioned to second guess themselves, and you know, we're going to talk here about staying true to yourself in a world where you're surrounded by other people's opinions and demands. It's about regaining that self-confidence when you messed up or experienced a setback. So when you want to learn how to trust yourself, it really starts with looking inward. It's not selfish to pursue your desires and be your own authority. It's essential for fulfilling life. So you want to stop and ask, what is self-trust and why don't you trust yourself? Maybe you don't even know if you don't trust yourself, but self-trust means consistently staying true to yourself. At its very core, trusting yourself means you look after your own needs and safety. You treat yourself with love and compassion rather than strive for perfection. So you know deep down that you can survive difficulties and you refuse to give up on yourself. So here's what self-trust looks like. You're aware of your thoughts and feelings. You express yourself openly and honestly. You stick to your personal standards, ethics, and core values. And that means how clean do I like my home to be? What kind of people do I like to surround myself with? What do I value in life? And what is actually like ethical? Is it ethical to lie? Is it ethical to I just have my head wrapped around this topic right now. Is it ethical to say you're going to do something and then you don't do it? I mean, that's a principle right there. It's better to say you can't do something than lie about it. Or maybe people are just forgetful. But anyway, back to what else does self-trust look like? It's knowing when you need to take care of yourself first. It's the confidence that you can get through difficult times, and it's pursuing your dreams without letting other people stop you. So if you have trouble with self-trust, you are definitely not alone. It's actually pretty difficult to avoid inheriting some negative baggage as we develop. Our job as adults is to examine and question our limited thinking and beliefs. So what are the limited beliefs that I have, and what is holding me back? And why do I cling to certain people when they're not treating me like I deserve? Well, they feel the same way about me. My goodness. So let's run through a few examples of how we can start to mistrust our abilities and desires. If your parents let you get away with too much or regularly like swooped in to fix your problems, you may have difficulty handling responsibilities as an adult. You may feel helpless in the face of challenges or give up when things become difficult. Worst off, you can actually become overconfident if your parents are like doing everything for you and then telling you that it's like your that like basically giving you all of this kudos in the meantime. Like, if you grew up hearing a victim mentality, you may be conditioned to believe that life circumstances are out of your control. Like we're too poor to afford that, or success happens to other people, not us. You may decide that a dream is out of reach before you ever attempt to achieve it. Another common reason for not trusting yourself is past shaming or punishment. So this is a really big one. Like you've heard the phrase, children should be seen and not heard. If you are routinely punished for expressing your needs as a child, or just like you were born hypersensitive and then you were just shut up growing up, like, or you were put down constantly, you can continue to carry that guilt, shame, or fear as you get older. And then you just have a hard time trusting yourself. So that's coming from shame and punishment. And it's really sad. On a grander scale, family, community, and society put pressure on who you should be. And it can feel really uncomfortable, even dangerous to fully express yourself. You kind of wear a mask and put on a performance, but it is very healthy to express yourself and just be whoever you want to be, right? And it's so nice and liberating when you can trust yourself and not care what people think. So here's what a lack of self-trust looks like. When you don't trust yourself, you feel like you're not good enough, you're coming down hard on yourself when you're criticized, you're feeling guilty and ashamed. So you have difficulty making decisions and you're constantly asking others for guidance. I do this sometimes, asking others for guidance, but that's usually like, yeah, I mean, I can see like the hardest part I think is my relationship, and that's like the only thing I doubt myself on. And it's also like this is the person, this is the muse for this video, is like how can I trust him when he's saying he's going to do things and he doesn't? Please comment if you have any ideas for me. I'm open to self-improvement, and I don't come on here like the expert. Another look at what lack of self-trust looks like. I definitely don't have a problem making decisions. So, but maybe I need to think about like overall in life, like what I'm really wanting, because I'm not necessarily happy with, I don't know. I think grounding myself is really hard, when you're saving money, you're not spending money, when you're just really staying like disciplined, it's really hard when you don't have like these big things to look forward to. But anyway, I'm going on a tangent. It's just, yeah, it's hard when you can't spend money and go do lavish things, but I can work from anywhere. And anyway, totally projecting. But I think sometimes we limit ourselves, and I have so much like self-limiting beliefs that I'm still working through, and it's really like there's so many that I could just knock right now. Like I don't need to think, I don't know, it's just work. All of this is personal development is like the hardest kind of work. It's harder than actual work itself. So I'll try not to be too hard on myself here. That is another thing that I am very hard on myself, especially when I'm criticized. So maybe I have a lack of self-trust. Being afraid of making the wrong choice or disappointing others. I feel like a lot of this is natural too. Like, I think at any given point, so many of us do feel like, we're hard on ourselves when we're criticized, or, at some point, you're going to need to ask for guidance or feel like you're not good enough. So this, I feel like, could pertain to everyone. Other images of what a lack of self-trust looks like: being afraid of making the wrong choice or disappointing others. I'm really not so much of a people pleaser anymore, but following the advice of an external authority, even when it's harmful to you, that's really important. So if something's not good for you, don't do it. I mean, no job, knock on wood, is really that worth it, and your mental health and your sanity. I mean, your health alone is just not worth it. If there's an authority telling you to do something and it's bad for you, you don't have to do that. But that is what leads to a lack of self-trust. When you're following the advice of that authority and it's harmful, even when it's harmful to you. And then lastly, hiding your authentic self and feeling like overly self-conscious, that's also a lack of self-trust. I actually see some of these in myself, and it's really sad. I mean, not sad, it's just like, as I'm almost a full-grown woman, and I'm seeing, not almost, I'm like in my late 30s, and it's like we're not perfect, and goodness gracious, when you don't trust yourself, you end up going a million different directions. Your actions don't always line up with what matters to you. And a discord can develop between who you are and how you act. And that's when you know you need to take back control of your life and learn how to trust yourself again. So in the next video, I'm going to be talking about how to trust yourself again and some strategies to gain self-confidence. This was just a very rude awakening for what that looks like when we don't trust ourselves, and why and where it's coming from. So go ahead and catch me in the next video, and I hope this was helpful. Not always fun to talk about these topics. It's really interesting because I'm always looking to point the finger, and then I realize that I just point it back at myself. And self-development is one of the hardest things. Either we have a choice in this life to improve ourselves, or just place blame and point the finger at someone else. So give me some grace and mercy here. It's not easy getting on and talking about all these things that I'm personally working on currently in my life. So go ahead and give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate your support, to, your YouTube support. All right. Peace out. Love you guys. Appreciate all your help. Have a good week.